This is an interview that suella Braverman gave this morning. It's not exactly a car crash, but she steamrollers over all of the questions by simply saying what she wants to say. She doesn't answer the real question again and again and again, and she seems to be in ignorance of so many of the main issues.
Let's bring more details now, should we, about the small boats that we have been talking about. Lucky to have the Home Secretary in the studio for us this morning. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. As a barrister, are you completely comfortable with breaking the law?
We're not breaking the law, Kay. We are very confident that our measures that we've announced yesterday are in compliance with our international law obligations. But it's really important to know that we need to take action. The status quo is unacceptable. 45,000 people arrived here illegally, sometimes fatally so last year on small boats.
Wasn't illegal.
It's breaking our laws to come here without a legal basis, without permission, and passing through a safe country where they should have and could have claimed asylum
Let me tell you what
first.
Amnesty International say. They say the rights of migrants, refugees and asylum seekers are protected by international law, regardless of how and why they arrive in a country. They have the same rights as everyone else, plus special or specific protections. As a barrister, you're condoning breaking the law, according to Amnesty International.
We're not breaking the law, and no government representative has said that we're breaking the law. In fact, we've made it very clear that we believe we're in compliance with all of our international obligations. For example, the Refugee Convention, the European Convention on Human Rights, other conventions to which we are subject. But what's important is that we do need to take compassionate but necessary and fair measures now, because there are people who are dying to try and get here. They are breaking our laws. They are abusing the generosity of the British people. And we now need to ensure that they are deterred from doing that. We need to break the model of the people smuggling gangs. We need to stop people making this journey in the first place. If they want to come to the United Kingdom, they should choose to come here through safe and legal routes. They should put in an application through the legal mechanisms that we have offered them.
They're not breaking the law. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, you just quoted that, it states that everyone has the right to seek and enjoy asylum from persecution in other countries. That's what they're doing.
Well, we have a very generous regime of supporting people coming here lawfully for humanitarian protection, whether it's the 150,000 Ukrainians, whether it's the 100,000 people from Hong Kong, Afghanistan, Syria. In many instances, we accept people who have come here lawfully for those very purposes that you've just referred to. What we can't go on accepting is people breaking our laws, jumping the queue. I'm afraid you're wrong. They are coming here unlawfully because they don't have a legal basis to be here. We're going to be changing the law to ensure that they don't make the journey in the first place. If they come here illegally, they come here on a small boat without a legal basis to be here, having passed through a safe country in which they should have first claimed asylum, they won't be able to settle here. They won't be able to claim asylum here. They won't have an entitlement to a life in the UK.
You have talked about stretching the absolute boundaries, haven't you, of what is and isn't legal. That's like being a bit pregnant. You're either breaking the law or you're not. According to all of the research that we have done, people who get on a small boat to ride to the UK are not breaking the law. It's those that smuggle them here that are breaking the law. What are you doing about them?
Well, on that last point, we can definitely agree. I won't repeat the first point. The people smuggling gangs are a root cause of this problem, and they are sophisticated, they are operating on an international scale, they are well-resourced, and they are exploiting people. They are selling a lie. They are encouraging people to pay sometimes tens of thousands of pounds, sometimes their life savings, in the vain hope that they're going to travel here in a boat and get a life in the UK. That must be smashed. That model must be broken. Well, we are doing extensive work with the National Crime Agency to smash these gangs, and that's why I'm very pleased that we've had hundreds of arrests and convictions. We've had several gangs which have been shut down. I went out with the National Crime Agency a few months ago where they were actually able to arrest very early in the morning a people smuggler who had been part of these gangs.
People came across on the boats last year, so it's not very effective, isn't it? Is it? And we spoke to a smuggler here on Sky News, as you know, who said that 3/4 of the smugglers are based here in the UK.
Well, you're absolutely right that it's not acceptable that these gangs proliferate and continue to operate in the way that they do. That's why we're also working with the French to intercept the departures, to share intelligence, to prevent the successful operation by these criminal enterprises.
Not that effective at the moment, but let's see. We've only had
That's
a
why we
finite
need to
amount
take
of
these
time.
measures.
Yeah. When will the new detention centres be open for business?
Well, we already have a detention
The new
estate.
ones, when will they be open for business?
We are rolling out new detention spaces to support the detention pressures. I'm not going to give precise dates because we will have, we've got logistical challenges that we're always overcoming. But very, very soon we'll be expanding our detention capacity to meet the need brought about by our measures.
OK, when will the first failed asylum seekers be deported?
Again, I can't give you precise dates, I'm afraid. Okay. We have lots of processes which are in train.
The processing of these people?
Well, we have, we already have an asylum caseload which is being worked through.
Not very effective.
Well, we're doubling the number of caseworkers to over 2,000, by over 2,000, to process the asylum decisions which are waiting within the Home Office.
160,000 people, there's a backlog of 160,000 people, and yet you still think that you can process people within 28 days?
Well, that is exactly why we've got to introduce the measures, and some of our measures will put strict time limits on the time within which people can make their legal claims. And we will be employing more staff.
Are you going to employ?
We are employing more staff already. We're doubling the number of asylum caseworkers already to bear down on our asylum backlog, and we're making good progress in that respect. We're increasing our productivity, we're streamlining our process. It's absolutely vital that we bear down on that 100,000 cases that are waiting for a decision. We've now introduced new measures and new procedures. They are going to be, it will all depend on when this bill becomes an Act of Parliament. We've now introduced it. We're going to go through the process in Parliament. I encourage all of my colleagues to support this bill so that we get these powers on the statute book as quickly as possible.
When will people be sent to Rwanda?
Well, again, part of our Rwanda scheme is in court. We had a very strong victory in the High Court at the end of last year,
will people be sent?
testing the lawfulness of our Rwanda scheme. I should just say, about 12 months ago, people were deriding our Rwanda scheme as being unlawful. The High Court disagreed with that. Yeah, and we have to respect...
So when will they be sent?
We have to respect the court timetables.
So when will they be sent to Rwanda?
Where we will be going into an appeal hearing in April relating to the Rwanda scheme. We will then await a judgment from the Court of Appeal. You'd have to ask the judiciary as to when the timetable would be, but we will respect any timetable set by the courts.
How much will it cost per removal?
Well, we have paid a sum. I'm very proud.
Not just to Rwanda, but more generally, how much will it cost per removal?
Well, at the moment, it's costing £6 million a day.
How much will it cost
per removal? To
support
the asylum seekers who are being housed in hotel accommodation. And the premise of your question is that this is somehow going to cost more.
No,
I completely reject that. And what I'm saying is we're going to save...
I'm looking for some facts, and I haven't got a lot. How much will it cost for
Well, I'll tell you what we'll save. We'll save £3 billion a year if we get this bill onto the statute books, if we're able to relocate people to Rwanda, and if we're able to stop the boats.
OK, let me tell you that Mo Farah was trafficked when he was 9. You probably know this. He's won 6 gold Olympic medals. Under your new scheme, he would have been deported when he was 18. Is that the case?
Well, as I said, we are very proud of our world-leading modern slavery
is that the case?
Regime. Let me just answer your question.
Please.
And we've got world-leading protections on human trafficking. We're signatories to the European Convention Against Trafficking. And I'm very proud of the legislation that this government, or the Conservative government, put in place to protect victims of trafficking and modern slavery. Those arrangements are in place and people who are genuine victims of trafficking or modern slavery can claim protection in the UK. Many thousands of them do. What we don't want is the illegitimate
I'm going to have to let you go. I know I'm out of time,
slavery.
but do you acknowledge that Mo Farah, a 9-year-old Mo Farah, would have been booted out of the country when he was 18?
No, I don't acknowledge that. I think we have very lawful routes for people who are genuine victims of trafficking or modern slavery and for them to access protection. I'm very proud of that tradition and that culture and that provision in this country. Long may that continue. What we've got to stop is the abuse of our generosity.
OK, and just to underline, you're not sure at this stage when the first person will be told that or be taken out of the country under your new laws?
Our new laws are going to make sure that we'll have the power to detain and remove people. And we're very confident about moving forward with our groundbreaking partnership with Rwanda.
I must let you go. It's good of you to join us this morning. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Kate.
In the same way that Suella Braverman was unable to answer the question placed by Tim Lawton on the 22nd of November 2022, anybody interviewing Suella Braverman now must ask the same question. If I were an African male with good reason to claim asylum in the UK, I have relatives in the UK, I speak English, blah, blah, blah. How could I do it? How could I get to the UK? What is the safe and legal route for getting to the UK? She was asked this question, or Michelle Donnellan was asked the same question the other day and was unable to answer it. Suella Braverman wasn't asked this question by Kay Burley. She should have been. She should have been. That would have been useful, and it would have been interesting to hear what Suella Braverman has been able to work out since November. I suspect she hasn't been able to work out anything. I suspect this isn't a question she can answer.